Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, a former cheerleader.
May be the victim of human sex trafficking.
Missing for over a year.
These pimps, maybe they conned her and then started to control her.
The latest clues.
The man was arrested in connection with Corinna.
I need to know whether she's alive.
Plus, a heartbreaking update on another missing girl.
Their worst fears were realized.
My husband called and I knew.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, a Pennsylvania teen moves to New York City and seemingly disappears into thin air. An 18-year-old Little Rock native about to report an alleged sexual assault vanishes without a trace. You know, it just seems like it's becoming an epidemic. Every time you watch the news, it seems like another teen has gone missing, often never to be heard from again. Take a look.
15-year-old Sophie Reeder vanished nearly a year ago after leaving her Fort Lauderdale home.
She was last seen early morning, May 20th, 2017.
We are learning some new information on this disappearance of a young girl. Officials continue to follow up on hundreds of tips. They do believe that Jamie is still in danger.
Nearly a year after 16-year-old Lashaya Shine disappeared from her Aurora home, the FBI has now joined the investigation.
Developing news now from Sonoma County, where searchers are looking right now for a 15-year-old girl who was kidnapped. Investigators are trying to find Pearl Pinson.
Her family's still searching. They refuse to give up hope.
It has been nearly a year since a woman from Lebanon went missing.
The FBI and local police were all out searching the park.
It's been 6 months since 18-year-old Kiana went missing after leaving her home in South Elgin. Police say they're working with multiple agencies to try to find her.
We want her home. We are not going to give up searching for her until we find her.
Well, just last year, we met missing teen Ebby Stepek's parents. On October 24th, 2015, Ebby made plans to meet her stepfather, but she never showed up. Seemingly out of the blue, this vibrant young woman disappeared, leaving no trace. While her family held out hope Ebby would be found safe and sound, tragically, their worst fears were realized. And we're going to talk to Ebby's mother later on. But first, 19-year-old Corinna Slusser was last seen on September 20th, 2017 in Queens, New York. Just last week, a man was arrested for sex trafficking and other offenses in connection to Corinna. Now, Corinna's mother, Sabina, says she believes that her daughter was sold from one pimp to another, but she holds out hope that she's still alive.
My daughter, Corinna, and I were not getting along. When she turned 18, she figured she could do what she wanted to do. I wasn't having that. She moved in with her girlfriend. A month later, I found out that she was in New York City. I didn't know until I saw it on Facebook. My understanding from her friends, she was escorting, doing dinner dates. I told her, get your butt home now, and she'd say, I am okay. And I get something in the mail. It was a protection from abuse order that she put out on a gentleman because she said he had choked her and took her money. I would have never thought my daughter was involved in being pimped, prostituting. The last time I talked to Corinna was September 20th. She just said, Mom, I'm coming home tomorrow. And I was like, well, if you want to come home tomorrow, you're going to go back to school and you're going to get a job. It was the first time ever that she said she wanted to come home. I was texting her for like a whole week. I never got any response. I asked one of her friends when the last time they saw or heard of Corinna. She just said, nobody's heard from her. She's not responding to my calls or messages. Something's wrong. I was worried sick, so I went to the police.
Police are on the hunt for a 19-year-old girl.
Corinna Slusser was last seen in the early morning of September 20th at a Queens motel.
Police in New York City are involved in the investigation and believe the young woman may be the victim of human sex trafficking.
Missing for more than a month. Corinna is from Montour Township, just outside Bloomsburg.
She's in trouble, and we need to find her, and we need to make her safe.
NYPD called me and he said, we arrested the last guy that was with Corinna. Ishewoni, he's 23 years old, and he was an aspiring rapper who somehow met my daughter. And from what I read, there was 806 messages in 10 days between him and Corinna. What they said, I do not know. Basically, after that date, no one's heard from her. This is a person who vanished. I don't know if Corinna's still alive. I pray that she is. I love her. I want her to come home.
Well, I'm very, very sorry that you're in this situation. I can't even imagine. And this is something that obviously just haunts you 24/7 at this point, right?
Right, it does.
And now, it was July 2017 that you found out on Facebook that your daughter was in New York City, right?
I actually saw her post something that she was in Brooklyn, in New York.
And where did you think she was?
In Hazleton, living with her friend.
And then there were some Instagram pictures that after she moved to New York that she put up, and they were these pictures that she posted of herself on Instagram in July, then August, and then September. When did you get the inkling that there was prostitution involved?
After the investigation started.
Okay.
I knew nothing until I reported her missing. So then after that, it started, more news started coming out and developing, and then I started to learn that she was involved in human trafficking. Maybe they enticed her there somehow, conned her in a way, and then started to control her.
Now, there was an online ad that she posted on September 5th of 17, and this ad was posted at 10:48 p.m.,
Wow.
15 days before she disappeared. And whether she posted it herself or someone else did in her name, we have no way of knowing. That's what I mean. You don't know. And it says, I am sensual and open-minded, young, sexy Italian woman. I am the epitome of young, beautiful, and fun, and can adapt to any situation or your heart's desire. I'm a petite, thick and curvy blonde that weighs only 150 pounds. I have sparkling blue eyes, golden blonde hair, and fair olive skin tone. No law enforcement or pimps welcome. I service all. Does that sound like her at all?
No, she never referred to herself as a sexy Italian woman. She never called herself petite.
There were online posts that were advertising her on the day before and the day of her disappearance. There were at least 3 posts advertising her.
When was this?
And they were posted on September 19th at 4:48 in the morning, on the 20th at 3:54 a.m., and again at 9:27 p.m.
Well, for one, she's not 5'6", so I will tell you that right now. She's 5'8". So when I saw this in the news, I knew that they had it messed up anyway, because she's not 5'6", she's 5'8". She's fairly tall.
And she knows that.
And she knows how tall she is.
Yeah.
She's not 150 pounds either, but, you know, but she might say that, I don't know.
That didn't sound to me like something way someone would describe themselves. It sounded like somebody that might be trafficking her was writing about her,
and
is my point.
Another thing I want to point out is every time I spoke to her, she never told me a lot of stuff. Like everything, she would turn it around. I don't know if somebody was actually sitting next to her every time she was with me on the phone.
So she has to be guarded in what she says. Well, after disappearing over a year ago, an alleged sex trafficker was arrested in connection to Corinna. Now, find out how Corinna is linked to him after the break. We'll talk about that.
Corinna wanted to have a faster, more exciting life. She met an individual that made promises to help provide her with that. I could never have fathomed that my niece could be involved in a human trafficking ring.
And later,
I want her to be alive. It's been a year and I keep saying I need answers. I need to know whether she's alive. I need closure. I saw pictures of her half naked in this room. She's in here doing that and coming out and having coffee, talking to me like nothing's happening. So she was living a double life. The guys that she's with, whether she looks at them like pimps or boyfriends or whatever, they are taking and using her. I get a lot of people saying they might have seen Corinna. One was recent, saying she believed Corinna was going by the name of Madison. I don't know what happened to her that was the underlying reason for her to feel so bad about herself, that she felt like she needed this attention.
On September 20th, 2017, Corinna Slusser disappeared, leaving no trace. Now, authorities say Corinna was last seen at a Queens motel known as a location for prostitution with a man named Ishi Woni, who has been accused of sex trafficking. Now, just last month, Woni was arrested and charged in connection with Corinna. Now, Corinna's Aunt Julie was one of the last people to speak to Corinna, and now she's struggling with whether she could have done more. Take a look.
Corinna would never run away and have absolutely no contact with her friends and family. I firmly believe that a person or persons have taken control of my niece. Corinna definitely got into something way over her head. Corinna wanted to move in with me permanently in December of 2016. At first, I had agreed to let her move in. However, I was afraid that I was not going to be able to handle the angst of a teenage girl, so I changed my mind. I do believe that Corinna had a whole other life that she was hiding from everyone. Corinna wanted to have a faster, more exciting life, and she met an individual that made promises to help provide her with that. The last time that I spoke to Corinna was on September 11th of 2017. I called her after finding out that she was in New York and asked her if I could come and pick her up. I told her, "Baby girl, I know that somebody hurt you." And she said, "Yeah, I'm not worried about that." I could never have fathomed that my niece could be involved in a human trafficking ring. I feel very guilty for not being more involved in her life in the year leading up to all of this. Corinna, we miss you. We want you home so badly. You have no idea how much you're loved, and we just want you to be safe.
Well, Julie, I'm glad you're here. And the text exchange that you had with her was, you said, "Hey, my love, your Annie needs to talk to you when you have privacy." And she said, "Hey, what's wrong?" And you said, "I just found out what's been going on." And she said, "Going on? Not much is going on. What do you mean?" You said, "Well, I'm very worried about you." And she says, "Everything's been okay. I did not know you were in New York or about the hospital or about someone hurting you." And she said, "Yeah, it's okay. He's in jail now, though. And, well, that won't happen again." And you said, "Well, I don't want anything to happen to you. Will you move here? I can't drive there." You just had knee surgery, right? Yeah. "But I'll help do anything I can to help you. We need to talk privately." That was your exchange.
That was it, and we did talk. We did speak on the phone, and it was a very just a dry conversation. And like I heard Sabina saying, it was almost, I don't know that somebody was there with her, but it was very yes or no and matter of fact. And then, and actually our phone conversation was in between, like in the middle of those texts. And the phone went dead, and that was kind of it. But she had let me know there were more texts going after that once she got settled into her new apartment, that I was more than welcome to come and visit her. But in our conversation, one of the things that I asked her was, how are you affording an apartment if you don't have a job? And that was kind of where the conversation was coming to an end. She didn't have an answer for me.
Say.
Okay, but now authorities say she was last seen with this Ishi Woni.
I didn't even know who he was until just till the arrest on Halloween.
Okay, but now that's been a year, and during that time, off the grid. No texts, no pictures, no posts, no nothing.
Not that we know of. They want to keep the hope that she's still alive because she could easily be trafficked anywhere because of being coerced into this and probably drugged, you know, and maybe feeling like she needs to be with this person or brainwashed.
So, you know, how does this seemingly bright-eyed high school cheerleader end up in New York advertised on sex sites? How do you go from that to that? We're going to talk about that next.
Corinna and I have been friends for about 5 years. She was fun, outgoing, bubbly, could make anyone laugh. When I had graduated and went to college, Corinna became distant with our core group of friends. There was definitely like a disconnect. I started seeing posts on her social media of drugs, partying. There was a Snapchat of an African-American gentleman standing in a mirror. He had a gun in his right hip, his shirt pulled up, like showing off the gun. Corinna was on the bed in the background and it was posted to her Snapchat, and that's the last Snapchat I ever saw of Corinna. If I knew what I knew today, I would have done anything to stop it.
And later,
it's my biggest fear what you're going through.
You're looking, you know, people are looking. But that day, and they called me and said they found her.
I think Corinna started changing her junior year. I feel like I should have not trusted her so much. I should have monitored her more closely. She was very avid on social media. There was a lot of red flags. She didn't want to do cheerleading anymore. She started just dressing more scantily, spending hours on her appearance, mouthing off, cursing more, college parties. I'd find marijuana in the house. She had gone to a party and got arrested for underage drinking. I could go on and on and on. When the doors closed, how do I know what she's doing? Everything went from like here to there real quick.
Well, after disappearing on September 20th, 2017, Corinna Slusser is still considered a missing person. Now, on Halloween of this year, Ishi Wooney was arrested and charged for sex trafficking in connection with her. Now, her mother, Sabina, says the hardest part is not knowing what happened to Corinna and the emptiness in her home.
The house is empty. It's lonely. She always had her music playing in her room. She was always talking to her friends. Corinna and I would sit in here and we would have coffee. I would sit here and she would sit here and we would just talk, and she really wanted to come up with her own makeup line. She talked about going to the Paul Mitchell School then afterwards. Her dream was to go to New York City. This is Corinna's senior picture. She looks very beautiful. This is Corinna's room. I just want to say that when Corinna first went missing, I wouldn't go in here. It's sad for me. She was artistic. She drew a lot of pictures. This is a diary, my book of secrets. She loved like her necklaces, typical girl, her purses. She loved chokers, like she was just a diva. This is the shirt we had made. This is one of my favorite pictures of her. This was her picture she posted on September 8th of 2017. And she hasn't been on social media since she vanished. 99% of victims are never rescued. When I saw this sign, this just brought tears to my eyes. I'm very lonely and sad without her, and I just want her home.
Well, that's very difficult to see, right? And there were red flags as you look back, right?
Mm-hmm. Lots of red flags that I didn't. When you're living that and you work every day and everything, I was like, what's happening to my daughter? Like, she's just changing.
And you said she was friends with people online and people that you didn't know.
Well, she had over 1,000 to 1,500 Facebook friends. I mean, obviously, she doesn't know these people. They see that she's attractive, and, guys, these pimps scope out these girls.
And then lure them from the virtual world into the real world.
So that's, I think, what happened to her.
I hear parents all the time ask me, well, is it an intrusion of privacy if I'm checking up on my child, my teenager, on the internet, on their Snapchat accounts, and in their Twitter or on their Facebook? And the fact is, I think it's your duty to do that, because they may not recognize when they're being groomed, But a parent that's objective can come in from the side and look and recognize that they're being groomed, and they can do something about it. What's the main message you want to deliver in being here today? Why did you want to be here? What did you want to say?
I wanted to be here just to, for one, I want more media coverage for my daughter to find her, and just to monitor your children's, get their passwords, monitor everything that they do. Don't trust what they say because they lie.
Approximately 5,000 unaccompanied youth die each year as a result of assault, illness, or suicide. And they say unaccompanied because they've left home. And 80% of runaways have been sexually or physically abused. 47% of runaway youth report conflict with a parent, and 41% of youth attribute running away to poor relationships with parents, but only 7% of parents report the same. Which means parents, you're not recognized, you're not plugging in. All right, next, almost a year ago, we met 18-year-old Ebby Stepek's parents. Ebby vanished after she confided in her stepfather that she had been sexually assaulted and planned to go to the police. After a strange phone call to her brother, she was never seen again. So what has happened since? We'll talk to Ebby's mother after the break.
Ebby Stepek, gone without a trace.
I probably spend 10 hours a day trying to locate her.
Her empty car was found days later.
It sounds as though she had been snatched right out of the driver's seat.
Our daughter's, she's gone.
According to the National Crime Information Center, about 40,000 children under the age of 21 go missing every single year, 40,000. Now, 18-year-old Ebby Stepek is one of those teens. Now, Ebby went missing on October 24th, 2015. On the night she vanished, she confided to her stepfather that she had been sexually assaulted and wanted to report it to police. They made plans to meet, but then Ebby never showed up. Did an incident at a high school party hold the key to her disappearance? Well, we spoke to Ebby's parents, Lori and Michael, last year. Take a look.
Police need your help locating a missing teen. The last time anyone heard from 18-year-old Ebby Stepek was October 25th. Her empty car was found days later.
I probably spend 10 hours a day trying to locate her.
Ebby Stepek, gone without a trace.
Do you believe your daughter is alive today?
No.
Until we find a body, until someone confirms that she's deceased, I'm going to remain hopeful that we will find her and bring her home.
A couple days before Ebby was reported missing, she went to a party.
Ebby texted me that she needed to speak to me about something important.
She doesn't show up to meet you.
I sent her a text message to let her know that I was on my way, and she never responded.
Then her brother, Trevor, calls her. She doesn't answer, but she calls him right back, correct?
That is correct.
Trevor asked her where she was. She knew she was with her car. At that point, Trevor told me that Ebby sounded really messed up, disoriented. He'd never heard her sound like that before.
He says she sounds disoriented and claims she's lost.
It's about a 4-minute conversation of where he's trying to determine where she is and what's going on.
That was the last phone call with her.
Yes. 5 days after Ebby disappeared, her car was found in a park approximately 3 miles from our house. All of her things were in the car. Her purse, her makeup was thrown around the car. She was a makeup artist. She would have never left her makeup. I knew instantly someone had taken her. Our daughter's, she's gone.
Well, it's been over a year since we spoke with Ebby's mother, Lori. Now, sadly, her worst fears were realized earlier this year.
Breaking just into the THV 11 newsroom, Little Rock police confirm the remains found in Shalamont Park yesterday are those of Ebby Stepek. Police had said that the remains were skeletal and that the pipe opens near where Stepek's car was found.
She's been there all this time. We might have known what happened to her. This makes me sick.
I'll say a prayer. I'm so sorry. I pray for y'all. I'm so sorry. Lori.
So good to see you again. Well, joining us now is Ebby's mother, Lori. And Lori, I just can't even find the words to tell you how sorry I am for your loss. You know, you and I have been through this and just have been heartbroken at the outcome here. I'm just so very, very sorry for that.
Thank you.
Now, you say that she was found very near her car,
Yes.
right? Where her car was found.
About 60 feet.
Wow. And was the thinking that she had been there all along?
Yes. She was killed and put in a drainage pipe 60 feet from her car.
It had been how long between when she went missing and when she was found exactly?
Almost 3 years.
Right. And so she was identified how?
Through her jewelry. My husband called and said, let's go to lunch. And I knew. In 15 years, he's never asked me to go to lunch. And so I was at work and I just knew. And he came in and said they found a skeleton. But there's still little something in the back of your head that missing. You're looking, you know, people are looking. But that day, when they come and say they found her, that's a whole different state of mind.
Lori says that up until May 22nd of this year, when she heard the heartbreaking news that her daughter Ebby's remains had been found, she was in the exact position as Sabina is in. What she has to say to Sabina and all parents looking for a loved one next. Lori's missing daughter, Ebby Stepek's skeletal remains were found just 60 feet from where her car was abandoned. Sabina's daughter, Corinna Slusser, is still considered missing. And what have you done with her jewelry?
I have it on. And I can't tell you how many pictures we showed with this jewelry, looking for, had anyone seen it? Did anyone recognize it? And it was found on her. It's just, I miss her. I miss her touch. I'm so grateful you asked me to come meet you.
It's my biggest fear what you're going through, and that you lasted 3 years not knowing. That's like, it's been a year and I keep saying I need answers. I need to know whether she's alive. I need closure. I need closure. I want her to be alive, but I need closure.
So much of my time where you are was spent with Tina searching for her. You know, Tina would send me pictures of nude girls or half nude girls and say, is this her arm? Or is this her hair or her eyebrow? And you're doing that all the time.
So we know who you're talking about. For 2 years before Ebby was found, Lori worked with Tina of Halos Investigations to find her missing daughter, and Tina's here. Tina, just wanted to thank you for everything you've done in this as well.
Sabina, I want to let you know that Halos Investigations for Missing and Trafficked Children are here to, we're going to be here to help you.
Oh, thank you.
We will do everything we can to find your daughter.
Thank you.
I might drive you crazy in the process. Lori will tell you if I feel the need, I'll call you at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Good. Go ahead.
I work around the clock.
Call me.
Yeah, this is an amazing organization, and
Yes.
they work. They're fueled by passion, 100%.
Right.
Let me tell you.
We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We do everything out of the bottom of our heart.
I had just so much support. And I also wanted to tell you this.
you to know, when you're up at night and it's 2 or 3 in the morning and you need to talk to someone, message me. Because those are the people that I may never meet that I could talk to just, they told me their stories, or they would pray with me, or they would listen. And I just hope that I can be the middle of the night person for you.
Oh, definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I can tell you we feel like this kind of thing is the highest and best use of this platform, and
Yes.
we're very proud to have been
Yes.
a part of the process.
Thank you for having
and
us on.
part of your process as well. And anyone with information about Corinna Slusser, please, we ask you to contact the NYPD Sex Trafficking Hotline, and that number is 646-610-7272. You can also call 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-225-5324, or you can visit their website at tips.fbi.gov. And I'm going to have all of those numbers. If you, I know we just went through them quickly and you may not have had a pen handy, but all of those will be on drphil.com. They'll be on my Facebook page. They'll be on my Twitter page. They'll be everywhere that you can find me. All of those will be there, where all you got to do is just click on it and it will connect you. Now, if you have any information at all, please do that. And look, it's not funny or a way to entertain yourself with some kind of prank tip or whatever.
No.
That's the last thing in the world that needs to happen here. But if you've got information, maybe you've seen something, you've heard something, nothing is too small, nothing is insignificant. The smallest thread can unravel a cover-up. So please, if you know something, respond. And I'm so glad we're turning a bright light on over this. And even though we didn't have a happy outcome, you feel like there was a very positive effect to you coming here to Dr. Phil and talking about Ebby's story, right?
I do. The positive effect is through the almost 3 years that we searched for her. Tina would set up sting operations because there would be a picture of Ebby, what believed to be Ebby. They would go and it wasn't Ebby, but they saved 3 other girls.
Coming out, how a horrific crash led one man to the love of his life. Next. My next guest, Mark, says after 9/11, he felt compelled to protect and serve his country. So at 17 years old, Mark joined the Army and headed to Iraq. All was going well until a training mission when his helicopter crashed, killing 6 of the 11 people on board. Mark survived, but the tragic crash dramatically changed his life forever.
November 8th, 2007 was supposed to be a routine training mission for our flight group. At the end of the flight, we started to spin and we crash landed in a dry riverbed. I spent the first month in a coma. I was crushed from head to toe. I can no longer walk. I continued my rehab at Quantum Leap Farm. Equine therapy facility, they offer rehab to wounded soldiers. I feel free up here. This is a new freedom. I met the love of my life, Margot, my first day at the farm.
I had no idea I would meet my future husband on that day.
We were married May 2015. In 2018, our twin daughters were born.
He's a wonderful father. He's very interactive with his daughters.
Hey, Gary, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I signed up with the Wounded Warrior Project. I'm a mentor to help other veterans with their transition from the military into civilian life. It's training that I got from Wounded Warrior Project that's helped me move past what I've been through.
Wounded Warrior Project has also given Mark a new purpose, and he's come a long way.
I'm serving the military in a different way now.
Well, joining me are Mark, along with Mike Richardson from Wounded Warrior Project. And also joining us on Polycom is Mark's wife, Margot, who is home with their twin baby girls. So thank you all for being here. Mark, thank you so much for your service.
It was a pleasure.
I just can't tell you how much we really thank you for your service. In that helicopter crash, you suffered a serious brain injury, nearly 30 broken bones, and about 2 years in physical therapy.
Yes, sir.
And many people would just give in and give up. So what was the turning point for you?
I had my moments when I wanted to give up, but a visitor from the Wounded Warrior Project came to my room one day with a backpack of toiletries and other things and a milkshake because hospital food sucks.
Yeah.
And he promised me that Wounded Warrior Project would never leave me behind nor leave my family behind. So it was my mission to step up and step forward and to do more.
Now, Margot, you mentioned that you first met Mark at a Wounded Warrior Project event, right?
That's correct.
Was it love at first sight?
I don't know about that, Dr. Phil, but I knew he was special right away. Just less than 2 years after we met at the farm, we were married, and watching Mark walk down the aisle with just his walker was so moving, and I'm so proud of him.
So, Mike, it sounds like Wounded Warrior Project made a love connection with Mark and Margot, right?
Yeah, Dr. Phil, that's a great story. So since 2003, Wounded Warrior Project has been helping our wounded, ill, and injured veterans and their families not only survive in their communities, but really thrive. And not just during the recovery period, but as they see and realize really bright futures. And obviously, Margot and the girls are part of Mark's very bright future.
What a great looking family. Tell us more about what you do for veterans.
Wounded Warrior Project's mission is to honor and empower this generation's of veterans and families. Being a combat veteran myself, many return with very visible wounds of war. But there are hundreds of thousands of warriors that are wrestling with the invisible wounds of war. Our mental health programs, along with our long-term rehabilitative care and our other services, really saves lives. When warriors like Mark are ready for their next mission, Wounded Warrior Project stands ready to help serve and make sure that he realizes that mission. And because of the incredible generosity of American donors, our warriors and their families never pay a penny for any of our life-saving programs. They paid their dues on the battlefield, as well as in their service to our country.
So look, you don't have to face this difficult time alone. Wounded Warrior Project is here for you. And again, all of their services are free. And you can get all the information at woundedwarriorproject.org. Now, Mark, now that you and Margot are parents, how's life treating you?
Honestly, I couldn't be happier. I have an amazing smoking hot wife, great twin girls who I can't wait to see grow up.
I think there are no accidents, and without those dark days, you would have never met Margot, you would have never had these babies, right?
When I think back to my darkest days when I wanted to give up, I knew, had I known that meeting Margot and having these kids would be in the future, I would have kept pushing through quicker. So it was,
You bet.
It was
so
great.
Margot, how is life going for you?
We're all doing really well, but we're very thankful for Wounded Warrior Project, and we know that they will continue to support us as we bring up these girls.
Look, the Wounded Warrior Project is an organization that offers great resources, help, and support to our nation's injured veterans. To learn more and find out how to support, check out their website at woundedwarriorproject.org. You do want to learn more, and you're going to want to make donations to this because it's going to make you feel really, really good inside. I know, I support them. I want to thank all of my guests today. Mark and Margot, thank you so much for sharing your really inspiring story. Mike Richardson, thank you, and Wounded Warrior Project. Just thank you guys for existing, and thank you again for serving our country. Really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.